Hey, what's up, Girl Scouts? Well, we're going to do an overview of the shooter chassis from NSC RC, and we're also going to be doing an overview of the gouprc combo for this rig. So, what we basically have here, I'll show you the basic chassis, is if you actually look down in here, you can see the blue. There's a regular chassis here. This cab is extra. So you can put, if you're ingenuitive enough, you can put a regular body on this chassis. But it comes with the cab, which I really like, because I think it helps with the rigidity of the frame a lot. Because, you know, a lot of times you have people that have 3D frames that are having problems with them being, just say, not as strong as they would like. Now, me, personally, I have to have something strong because this hand, whenever I'm holding something and I'm screwing with this hand, for some reason grips tight and it wants to break stuff. I'm like a bull in a china shop. Now, this is 3D printed, of course, but that is 3 layers of PLA thick plus this layer, and you can see that's double thick right through there and then around. Okay, now this does have a SCX24 skid. These are printed in. Now, they were done in 2 different colors. On this one, on SAMICH. Now, these aren't the grills that you will get. The grills that you're getting on the final product are all the same size rectangles going all the way across, and it does have headlight buckets. If I can, I'll throw a picture in here in a little bit to show. Now, this chassis, folks, is strong as freaking hell. I'm not very easy on my rigs. Most of you all know this for sure. And it has tailgate also, RC crawler. That's freaking sweet. Now, there's also another chassis coming out. It's a comp chassis. It reminds me in between a Profit design, a Texoma, a Slayer, and I don't know what else. It is a unique crawler for sure, and I'll tell you what, it looks like it's going to be very, very, very capable. Through the testing we've seen so far, it's gone way above and beyond what we figured it would. Not what we hoped, you know, because your hopes are always higher than what you realistically think, you know. Now, what I like about this chassis, just to get on back to the shooter chassis, that's the bullet chassis will be the comp one, FYI. What I like about this cab, it comes apart. You can take the roof off. Don't mind my glue. I had some lights up in there that didn't end up working out. And no, I didn't burn up anything. It's just I didn't want to burn up anything, so I took it out. But you can take the top off. You can get down inside to get to this to work. And don't mind my cardboard on around the edges. I'll get that cleaned up. Get this cleaned up. He's dirty as hell at the moment. But you can tell the ESC and the goup motor fit in this chassis, okay? As you can see, there's plenty of headroom. Okay, now, here's the deal. This motor is an awesome freaking motor for a crawler, okay, guys? I mean, it's got the slow crawl. I'm sure you've seen a video of SAMICH already. If you haven't, there's a couple down in the shorts. and there may be one or two in the videos. But let's do a little comparison here just to see, okay? Now this is the motor and transmission that came out. This is an Amazon special aluminum transmission case with mofo metal gears in it. It's a red injora 50 can, 50 turn motor, or 66 turn motor, I'm sorry. Now, this motor is never known for being a good slow crawl, okay? Especially when paired with the stock ESC combo. It's not bad, but it's not great. I'm not saying anything bad about this motor whatsoever. What I had to put in the truck to get it running at the time, so I put it in it, knowing well and good that it wasn't going to give me exactly what I wanted. But it is a good motor. It's never had any hiccups. I've had the purple motors as well. They're a great motor. But being brushed motor, and I'm sorry, Injora, I'm not being mean, but I prefer the mofo torque beast over the blue or the purple 50 can 50 turn. In the same category, I'm sorry, mofo has you beat out, but you do not have a bad product for the price, and keep going and doing what you're doing. If this was paired to the MB100, or the purple motor would have been in this truck paired to the MB100, it would have been a great truck. Had it with the stock ESC, it's not the best. But I'm leery to even say about the MB100 that it would be good for this, because if you put an upgraded servo on this truck and you run anything that's drawing more power out of this than this motor right here, out of that ESC, you will start having problems. Just from personal experience, that's all it is. It may be just just end up getting a couple of them in products. But that said, I was told about a year and a half ago, being new into the hobby, that the MB100 was the best thing since sliced bread for budget ESC for a brush motor. So I purchased it for PMAX, which is my pain in my axe. That said, I was running 2 ramp grab 6 kg servos. I was running a Torque Beast 050 50 series 50 turn and an MB100. I was browning out. At the time, I was running a 2-cell 750 mAh 30C battery. I was browning out. I was having problems with the ESC and everything else, not communicating correctly. I don't know what, but I put my motor in and everything, checked it, made sure it was okay, hit my receiver, and both sets of wheels, because it was 4-wheel steer, started twitching every time I'd hit the gas, and the tires were spinning. It's mostly my fault for not knowing what I was doing. I'm not downing the motor, the ESC, with the SCX 24. I'm just saying it's not a good option for the axe, through my experience. I've never heard of anybody having any problems with just running upgraded servos and the MB100 and these motors, or any other 50 cam motor, to be exact. I'm not meaning whatsoever that it's a bad motor. I'm just saying it's not a good choice, I don't think, for an axe. And reason being, you've got to upgrade the axe so much. You've got to put a lot of weight on it, which means you're going to end up having to put a bigger servo, bigger motor, metal transmission. All means bigger ESC. And the 20 amp is just not enough to do it. for what you need to do if you're going to make an axe work the way that I made it work. Let's put it that way. You can make them light. I'm just not the guy to do that. Now, let me preface all this before we totally get in anymore. Is I do not know what I'm doing. I learned this from RC brothers in the YouTube community, RC brothers in the Facebook community, RC brothers in my community here. I know one-to-ones somewhat. Anything with fuel injected I don't like working on, so 86 and back pretty much. Carbureted distributors, you know, that sort of thing. I'm good. I can work on a regular vehicle. I just am not trained and I do not have the equipment. But learning tiny trucks, let's get back to that. It took me 6.5 months and a couple $100 to figure out that the MB100 was my problem. I wasn't having to pay for the injora motors or the injora ESCs. I burnt 2 injora motors up and I burnt 2 ESCs up. I did end up having to pay for one of those ESCs. Actually, I ended up trading around for it to get it, is how I done it. But that being said, I put 6 servos, 6 motors, and 2 ESCs in 6 months, trying to figure out what the problem was. And I could get no help from anybody because I couldn't explain what was going on because I didn't exactly know. That being said, there were some issues with the truck that needed to be fixed that I fixed during the process, but I still came back to having the same problem with brownouts and having no whatsoever reverse speed whatsoever. I fixed those issues, still having the same main problem, and that was the browning out and everything. Now, I have not run so far into any problems with the gouprc 2204 combo. Very good low torque, very good high speed. When you want to giddy up and go, you can giddy up and go. I mean, SAMICH don't know what to think. He can crawl real slow, or he can just daggone clean them tars out in the mud hole, you know. Now, this motor, this is why I wanted to get to this, and I'm about to knock y'all off the table. My apologies. Okay. Now, all right, look. These are the same transmission, okay? Except your spurs way bigger, okay? Now, that said, the motor goes in opposite, so sitting in the ESC, sitting in the skid right now, these motors were facing this way that they are right now. This one was facing rear, this one is facing forward. Now, here is the only problem that I have with the goup or brushless systems set up like this, is all of the mass is higher than the top of this transmission on this one. Now, it changed the way that he sat, the way that he rolled, the way that he works. So I'm adjusting for that. I had brass in front centers and aluminum injoras in the rear, both all of them injoras, injora 1.3 wheels, injora 70mm Klingons. Wouldn't trade them for nothing. They're wicked. Love the wheels, love the tires. The brass weights, like I said, are in the front. I have 4, so I'm going to put 4 in the back to help counteract some of this higher center of gravity that this gives you. Okay? Now, Here's my thing. I know everybody wants low weight, low weight, low weight, and low weight's better. But as long as you're getting your front weight bias and not losing too much performance to the little bit higher weight, I believe it's better to have the weight forward and not low if you can't get it low than just to have it not forward. Because we all know that in crawlers, if you're 60-40 weight bias, you're pretty good. Well, this helps get my weight bias 60-40. Yes, I've got the BOA on the axle. That's where it gets it. But this truck is set up a lot like an axe is, except without the vertical frame. This truck, center to center, well, length, 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 are paired on the front, paired on the rear. So the bottoms are all the same and the tops are all the same. So most of my balance is right here. Now it's forward bias now because it has the goup motor in it. There's only 16 grams of difference, I believe. Hold on. The camera here a little bit. Okay, so the Injora red, the aluminum transmission housing, and the Mofo metal gears are 3507. 3507. The goup transmission motor and all, which does have metal gears as well, is 54. So we have 54. Where'd my pen go? Oh, I had a marker. Where'd it go? Well, crept polo on the shingle. Okay, well, we can do it, math. 54 minus, what we say? 54 minus 35, that's 19. So there's only 19 grams difference, but all the difference in the weight is higher. See what I'm saying? Now, I burn up the ESC that went to this blue motor by being a dumbass. Folks, do not try to take an 800 lumen hat light to do a DIY light bar for your RC car, because it burns up equipment really fast. Let's just put it that way. So, my bad, not the manufacturer's fault whatsoever. That's why I still have the blue goup motor that I had to begin with. Thank you to Matt, 2FMRC, for the trade for that. And sorry I burned up the ESC that we traded for, but yeah, I'm learning, you know. Now, folks, like I said earlier, motor fits, ESC fits. Now what I've done is just wrap the motor wires up tight and just put a piece of tape around it. The cab of the truck, move these scales. Right here, the cap does, okay, the roof. Okay, so it fits. Now, thanks to Mustachio, Mr. Nick at Mofo RC, for the scale cooler, because that has become my receiver box. Okay, now I figured I would use the SLR 300 or SR 300, whatever the name of it is, from Spectrum, the 4-channel receiver. And I used it yesterday just on the first run of this. But I remembered that I had a Red Cat transmitter receiver, and that the Red Cat 4-channel receiver is way, way smaller, okay? I mean, way, way smaller. So, that's pretty cool because, look, what I need, I don't have to decase this. I don't have to do anything. All I need to do whenever I put this in is put that in, right? And I'm going to have to notch out part of the cooler or part of the lid for the wires. So what I'm thinking is, oh shit, we're pulling that off there now. You need to protect your antenna. Holy crap, I'm freaking lucky I did that, made that. Okay, so we'll just quit doing that so I quit messing up stuff as usual. But, alright, what I was probably going to do is just cut out a hole that's this big, most likely in the bottom of the cooler right here. That way I can get my wires up through and I can use the top of my cooler and shut it. Oh, what's this thing's problem is all of a sudden? Alright, so that's what I'm going to do because I do have plenty of room, even with the suspension all the way drooped, to put that right there. So that'll be good. And this box really doesn't add a lot of weight to us, so it's no big deal. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you, if you're going to be running this motor, the best thing that you can do is, if you were still running stock plastic drive shafts, upgrade them. I have broken 3 of the universal joint balls that go in the drive shaft here yesterday, and it was because I have no control of the right pedal. Full send, wink wink, nod nod, kid kid, haha. But I have a problem of liking to hit the fuel or hitting the throttle to get myself out of wedges and stuff with my tires. I've spun some of the best daggone RC gears ever made, the Mofo X15 gears. Thank you, Nick, once again. Make sure you all go over to Mofo RC and check out what the Memorial Day sales are going. I do not know how long those are going to last. They may already be over, and if they are, I apologize. But if they are, you can thank Mr. Sliding Sideways RC, Mr. Skevy Skev, and use Sliding Sideways in the code box at checkout and receive some a little bit of money off on there. I think it's 10%, but don't hold me to that because it's not my code, and it's just what I've been told. So I'm sorry if I was mistaken on the amount. Now, this thing has one of the best slow crawls I've ever seen. I would weigh this, but my these scales don't weigh enough weight, high enough weight for me to do it. And my other ones are hiding at the present time, it looks like. Yep. At the present time, they're hiding. We'll get them and weigh this thing here in a little bit. But I'm, like I said, I'm running BOA. Oh, and I'm also running a WPL C21 replacement servo. My local shop around here only had Emax and something even worse, so I told them to give me something that was size up, and that's what they found. What I did was I took the X15 servo mount off. I put an old ramp crab or one of those that I had servo mounts. I cut the ears off of it. I epoxied said servo to said mount, and also epoxied the Velcro strap on there from my BOA. Now, folks, you can't beat the Mofo X15 axles for the steering or for the toughness, because you see there's a SCX24 axle end, but everything until you get to right here, axle shaft, axle ends, everything are all TRX4M, and then you also come back to your SCX24 worm gears so that you can have a beefed up axle and still be able to run your stock gears. That was freaking smart, Nick. Now the steering angle on these suckers is just amazing. I'm running a 23% overdrive in the front with stock SCX AX24 gearing in the rear. As I said, oh, my links. My links are redneck engineered plastic Gladiator rear uppers as lowers and axe uppers as uppers, I believe. I'm sitting at 169-ish centimeters, millimeters, my bad. As soon as I find that thing that Waffles don't like using, tape measure, ruler, whatever you want to call it, I would show you what I'm talking about. Here it is. I use it for a straight edge, mostly, not as a ruler, but we're going to use it as a ruler today, Waffles, so leave me the hell alone. And if y'all haven't, y'all need to go check out the dude, Waffles RC, because I'm telling you what, he's what got me started into making some of my own parts, and I'll show you some of those here in just a minute. But we're going to get a measurement on this and a measurement on these links real quick so that I can tell you what we got going on. So we're looking at, wow, we're looking at 168 millimeters length. Okay, total wheelbase. Now, if you go center pin to center pin, you're looking at an overall length of, oh, I'm not good at videoing this, y'all. It's reasons you don't see me do them very often, but I wanted to do this on this shooter chassis because I think you all needed to know. I'm looking at right about 67, 68 millimeters on the bottom, and I think they're supposed to be 70, but with the bend it shortened them up a little bit. And then on the uppers, y'all are just going to have to go with my guesstimation here because I'm not measuring exact, but it looks like 50 or 51. So that said, I'm running injora clone shocks with, that won't hold oil, but with no springs and rubber bands on the front. I did have rubber bands on the back, but I may end up putting those back on, but as of right now, no. I made my rear lowers. These are the ones off PMAX. These are just made out of a steel rod that I flattened out on the ends. I bent these up. I drilled a hole just a slight bit bigger than one of these SCX 24 screws was, okay? And then I took heat shrink and I went around the ends of them with the heat shrink. Once I put the heat shrink on there, I installed my screws into the links into the mounts, and I did not poke a hole or anything through that heat shrink. The reason that I didn't was because the heat shrink is actually being used as a bushing or a rod end. It's what's helping not break screws. I have not broken any screws on any links that I've used these links or trucks on. Okay. Now, here, I've got my drive shafts redneck engineered. There's a little bit, just a little bit sliding too much. It can almost come out. So anytime that happens, and it's because of my links aren't exact length that they should be, you can take a piece of heat shrink. After you put your drive shaft together, you want your heat shrink, of course, to be on one of the pieces prior. But you slide them together, slide your heat shrink over there, heat it up to where it's down tight around it. That way it'll still let it slide, but it won't let it come out. It's a good little tip in case y'all ever need it. But if you stick to making the right correct links, most of the time you won't have that problem. Now, I have drive shafts coming in tomorrow, supposedly. Thank you, Jason Earl, for the hookup. Mr. Jason Earl Exotics here on YouTube, I think is what the name of the channel is. Go check him out. He's got some pretty cool stuff he's doing now. He's got some 18th scale stuff. He's got a P-Max of his own. We don't know what he's going to name it yet because he hadn't had to start yelling his axe yet. He's got a pretty good little setup there. Nothing Stock 83 had started it and ended up built it for his son, and his son was wanting a basher and this, that, and the other, and ended up he decided he wanted to send it to Uncle Earl because Uncle Earl didn't have any 24 scale and he didn't know what he was missing out on. Basically, I guess. I don't know the exact reason, but that was cool of him. It was a great job, brother. You keep it up. Gabe. Matter of fact, that's his name. Gabe Nothing Stock. He's all stock though. But very good family there, guys. If it wasn't for those guys, the Nothing Stocks, this channel wouldn't be where it is today. And thanks to my big brother from another mother, Mr. Brian Parker, aka DJ Bopper, aka my brother. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here either. And you can all blame Skevy Skev from Sliding Sideways RC for me starting to get used to the use of the tubes and doing the lives and actually going for making my channel. Thank you very much, Skev. I appreciate you, brother. And make sure you all guys go sub up these guys if you aren't already. Man, you're missing some good content from all of them. But make sure you stop by Nothing Stock 83's page. And whenever the crickets start cricketing, make sure that you let him know somehow that he needs to start making content with some of these cool cars that he's making. Because this man has got pretty good squishy stuff between his ears, folks. And this is Alex. It helps me on my lives. Helps me in a lot of ways. And Mrs. Nothing Stock, Miss Megan, she's making me a sandwich one day. Giggity. But guys, I really just want to tell you that, yeah, whenever you do put the brushless motor in it, it is going to add some weight up higher. It is going to change your rig a little bit. But that's what we do, right? We upgrade something, that means we got to upgrade something else or fix something else, right? Well, that's what we're doing, and we're trying to do it in as fiscally possible and the best way possible for our situation. We may not always be doing the right things, but we're doing what's right for us. I won't ever tell you that the way I'm going to tell you to do something is exactly right and that I'm the knowing all fucking Oz, because I'm not. Especially about these daggone little tiny trucks. And I'm learning every day, but I'll never be able to learn what you guys out there in the RC world know already. You know, the veterans above me. You got to understand, I just started playing with tiny trucks again a year and a half ago, and it had been a 35-year siesta since. So, see what I'm saying? I'm new, I'm learning. I'll tell you the way that I believe that it would work, or I share my experience. But I will tell you that I am no way near the person that you need to be asking most of the time, unless I know what I'm talking about. And the only really times I tell you I know what I'm talking about is if I'm doing drywall or I have done it previously. Like the MB100 thing with the axe, that's just my experience with an AX24 with upgraded parts. That's my experience. I'm not saying whatsoever it's not a good ESC. I'm not saying whatsoever it's not a good ESC for an axe. I'm saying it's not a good ESC for the axe if you have upgraded it heavy with weight. And I really do like everything else Injora's doing. I'm not down on that motor or that ESC whatsoever, guys. So don't put it as like that. I have before, and I shouldn't have, because I didn't know what I was talking about. I was just mad because I was without a truck for 6 months basically, and a bunch of motors and a bunch of pain in my butt, hence the name Pain in the Axe. That's where it came from. It's the only reason that I've had a bad taste in my mouth about the MB100, and it's mostly my fault. But guys, don't always believe what you hear in Facebook groups, because it can get you trouble on these tiny truck mechanics. That said, go to YouTube, watch YouTube, take it with a grain of salt, but there are a few channels that I know for sure that you'll get the best information that you can get, and that is Cape Crawlers, that is Derby City RC, that's 2FM RC with Matt, it's Waffles RC, it's Urban Legend RC. Always give you the correct information that he has. I will always give you the best available information that I have, or try to help you get it. There are other channels out there, Sliding Sideways, Jason's RC Garage, or James RC Garage, Jason's RCs, Rock Wolf Designs. You know, guys, there's plenty of great channels out there, but don't always just take one channel to heart, because there's so many other ones out there. It doesn't hurt to do your due diligence and do your homework, guys. Whenever you're spending money to play with tiny trucks, make sure that you're spending your money wisely, and that you're getting the part that you need for your build you're needing right at the moment. Don't always go for the cheapest, but don't always go for the most expensive either, because there's a lot of times that some of those less expensive brands are better than the most expensive brands. It's like I try to do most of my RC parts from Nick at Mofo. Now, you can't get everything from Nick from Mofo all the time, because sometimes he don't have it, sometimes it's not what you need. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But Nick is a U.S. based, U.S. manufacturing, U.S. company. He's also a mom and pop company, basically, compared to all these other manufacturers out there, guys. He's doing what he can to help the RC community with some parts at a good price. So, guys, I thank you. I'm going to let you off here, and I'm going to put those weights in them wheels, put this top back on so that SAMICH doesn't get all flustered on me. And I will thank you all, and I'll be adding some stuff here later on this in the episode, so stay tuned. It is bye for me right now, but y'all will probably still see some stuff coming up. Peace out, Girl Scouts. I'll see you for mating season. You know what to do.
It's me, it's Dub V. I'll be right back, folks.
Rednecks RS. Okay, guys. Now what we're going to show here is the difference in between how this thing starts and moves and rolls and spins and turns and actually performs on the rocks right here. So watch right here. See how as soon as the tire goes to spin, as soon as the tire goes to move, it's spinning. That's because the motor is getting the power from the ESC, and it's not able to do so at a slow, medium rate like it would be with a brushless motor because of the way that the sensors are and the way that the ESC works on those. And a 66 turn motor is a faster speed motor than what a 50 turn is. Now, they're not bad motors, but they're not good for, say, this type of crawling, for what I'm going to do. Now, here you can watch it lunging, because you could get a slow start out of it every now and then, but it would lunge fastly. Now, watch here on how the gouprc motor controls whenever it comes through the one of the coal mine shafts that we just uncovered. We found dinosaur bones, football helmets, rifles. I mean, there's all kind of stuff in there, big old frog in there. But watch the slow modulation and control. See, it doesn't just spin. It moves, it grabs traction, and it just doesn't bust out spinning all automatically. So what you'll do is watch this right here, and then I'll show you another clip here in a second of what has really helped this big SAMICH, which by again words, but again, it's an NSC RC chassis. This is the shooter chassis. Now, this is on the indoor course, and I'm sure if y'all have been watching the channel for a while, you've not seen nothing come up this side of the mountain this easily. I mean, it's not spinning, it's not doing anything, not flipping backwards like all the other ones have. Slow crawl control. Slow crawl control. Now, this one right here is just going to speak for itself. I made it up with the 66 turn motor one time, but nobody was there to see it, and the tree fell in the woods and all that. I didn't have it on camera, so you don't know if I did or not. But I make her here. And this isn't an easy climb. Y'all saw one of the fail videos earlier if you've been watching the shorts. And I only made this once today, or yesterday, whenever I was doing this. Now, right down below that left tire, there's a V-groove, V-notch. I'll show you a video. I'll almost make a bit here in a minute, but I make it right here, by golly. Yeah, it took a little bit of go-go juice and a little bit of wheel speed, but I made it. And I accidentally sped this up, but that's okay, because I don't make it. Almost do. But this is the better, this right here is the better shot. I couldn't get to my phone, so thank you, Mike, for filming this for me. I appreciate it. I almost make it right here, but just not quite. And that wheel's sticking up in the air, and I'm just creeping. Look at, it's moving. The tires are moving. So,
oh well,
bounced out.